Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega, joined today by my lovely, lovable co-host, the meme queen of queens herself, folks, Sarah Levine. Sarah, how are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm trying to think if anything interesting has happened to me that we haven't already discussed. I think I lost a toenail, so that's gross.
R.I.P., yes, I have also lost a toenail.
It's never happened to me before in my life. I don't,
You know, I think it's kind of humbling in a way, because it's honestly like, we talk a lot. We've talked about the gap between sort of, who people are and who people think they are, right?
Okay.
Like, in other words, like, there's people who don't understand, like, you can have impulses and you can have thoughts and stuff that are, like, not ideally what you would think, and you've got to, like, dig deeper, right? Like, obviously go to therapy, but also just kind of reflect on the fact that you can have a dirty impulse or, like,
I'm just like, where are you going with this?
Yeah, well, where I'm going is it's like, this body is a fucking vessel and this spaceship is fucking crazy because holy shit, I lost a whole toenail. My body's like, relax, dude, we'll just grow the whole thing back. Really?
Right.
We're going to okay, I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't work like that with other things. I can't just chop off a finger and grow it back. I'm not a worm.
I know. What a shame, right? I wish we were like lizards, right? You can rip a lizard's tail off. No big deal. What a great security feature for a lizard. Just no problem.
That's legit. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else is up. Well, are you going to announce the good news?
What's the good news?
We're doing our show.
Oh, right. Oh, my God. I almost forgot. Yeah, guys, this is huge news for our New Yorkers. Hopefully I'll be able to squeeze a ticket link in. We're going to be performing live, the first AITA live show. You guys got to understand, I wanted to do this a long time ago. And
oh my God, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, Sarah was like, I think we have about 9 listeners, Danny. I don't know if that's going to be what you want.
Oh my gosh.
And now we're so lucky, and really we are so grateful. Shout out to Spotify, shout out to Anchor. I know some of you might be like, oh, there's ads on the pod now. Well, don't hate us because we love our new platform, Anchor.
Woo.
And a super cool thing about this, and I hope some of you are getting woke to this, those of you who are interested, you can now actually watch the podcast on Anchor on Spotify. It's through Anchor, but you can watch.
Oh yeah, I've seen some stuff on Spotify with that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so you can now actually watch us. You might even be watching us right now. Look at you. Hello there. Man. See, I'm waving. Hi. Hello. I don't know. Some of these comments are pretty funny because they're like, you don't look like what I expected you to look. And I'm like, okay, just call me ugly. You want to call me ugly?
Somebody said that to me at at the True Crime Live show, like January 2020. But it was actually quite nice because they basically thought that I would be ugly. And then we're like pleasantly surprised. So
wow. What does that mean?
She kind of thought that I was going to look like Alana Glazer and then just was not expecting me to look like the way that I look, which I thought was very funny.
Wow. I mean, Sarah, anybody...
Not that she's ugly, by the way, at all.
No, she's beautiful.
No,
That's
she's not.
Talk.
She's not. But I just thought, I don't know. I feel like she thought I was this like frumpy Jewish girl with like frizzy hair, and I do have frizzy hair, but I wouldn't describe myself as frumpy.
Interesting. I wouldn't call you a frizzy hair haver, but
anybody who lives somewhere with humidity pretty much just has frizzy hair sometimes.
That's funny.
It'd be like that.
I would say anybody should expect you to be gorgeous and me to be handsome because I think we have beautiful souls, everybody.
Thank you.
I do. I think so. Anyway, we didn't finish the deets. Here's the deets, people.
Sorry.
Friday, the 25th of February, 7:30 p.m. EST in a little venue that we love called QED. There will be 50 seats, and so we hope you'll join us. I will try my best to throw a link. They call that there a link because it's like a little chain link into the internet to the ticketing and all that stuff, and I'm sure it'll be on our bios and all that. We'll promote the shit out of it. But man, we've got a great show planned. Sarah will be doing her live stand-up debut, so that's
Yes,
already.
that's going to happen. I got to start writing my jokes.
She's going to do a little Fiverr, and then we're going to have some other stand-ups, some friends of mine.
Sweet. Do some stitches.
Yeah, and then I'm waffling here, Sarah, so maybe you can help me de-waffle, but I'm like, look, do I do my stand-up or do we do two stitches? So it's kind of like, do we want raw Danny Vega bits or do we want more AITA Live? And the AITA Live show, by the way, is going to be, at the very least, it will be one sitch, and then we're going to do assholes in the audience and other performers can participate. So it's going to be chaos and madness.
That'll be good.
So what do you think, Sarah? Should we do two sitches and then no Danny stand up or Danny stand up in one sitch?
I feel like I would say Danny stand up and like lose one of your friends.
Kill the friends. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I know, but it's, yeah.
Because I'm like, give the people what they want. They want Danny. They want AITAs.
All right, maybe we'll just I'm trying to keep the show to like an hour 10, but maybe we'll just do an hour and a half and you guys will have to, I mean, look, it's going to be freezing out. So what, you're going to go outside? No, you're going to be freezing. We're going to be all warm and huddle together in Astoria, Queens, folks.
Woo.
So that's the big news. That's Friday, February 25th at 7:30 p.m. Ticket link to follow.
I'm so excited.
Much love to you all. Let me hit you with some juice. I had one more Spotify talking point. Very cool. By the way, I read all the responses. I threw in a Q&A. I said, what'd you guys think of the app? I read all your responses. I loved all your responses. Thank you so much. And I pinned. I found out I can pin these comments. I'm very bad at our platform. It's very easy to use. I'm just kind of stupid. And yeah, I can pin comments. So I hope some of you got a notification that said, your comment was pinned. Kind of a fun thing. So I will be putting in a little question and I love to read all your guys' wonderful comments. So thank you. And no, there were no mean comments.
Oh my gosh.
It was really nice.
Isn't that sad? Like the expectations of the internet are so low that we're like, wow, nobody was mean to me unprompted. Good day.
It's great. I think podcasts are different. I think, because look, if you don't like it, you turn it off. I mean, I hope.
You leave a nasty review, whatever.
Or you leave a nasty review and cause me a sleepless night or two. No big deal.
Cash.
But yeah, so just know where I'll be reading and pinning your Q&A. I think it's called Q&A is the feature. That's it. That's the housekeeping of it all, folks. And, join us on Patreon. We got a couple new patrons. So thank you for joining us. We love to see it. We welcome Carly, Shelton, Katie, and Carissa to the Judge Judy's and Jude's. But yeah, I have a kind of funny morsel of juice here. I had kind of told you guys there's this, girl in my building and she's super cute and we run together. And so
is she the one who gave you COVID?
Potentially she is the one who gave me COVID. I'm not laying it on her, but it is possible.
Okay.
I forgive. She
yeah, it's not her fault.
Not her fault. So I was like, hey, you want to run? And yesterday, and she's like, oh, I'm sick and I'm napping all day. And I was like, okay. And so then today I was like, but she said I'm sick, but she said yes. And I was like, okay. So then I just texted her just now and I was like, hey, do you want to run at 7? And she's like, oh, I've been falling asleep on and off.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, she's like, just text me later. I was like, you don't have to run to like impress me. Like I can just bring you juice. Like you sound sick.
Yeah.
What are you doing? But that's not my real juice, people.
I was like, is that the juice?
No, it's that. Look, guys, I don't have a lot going on. All right, I'm bombing on Hinge. I got nothing going on Hinge. I went on a terrible Hinge date, so like nothing's happening there. To be fair, this date was horrible for both of us.
Okay.
So first of all, she showed up. She was running 10 minutes late, and then she claimed that her roommate lost her key or something, and that she was going to be 20 minutes late. And my whole body was like, just leave, bro. Just leave. This is not acceptable opener here. So she shows up and look, whatever, she was nice, but the chemistry wasn't really there. And then, so I'm like, oh, so like this could be just a mediocre thing where I'm annoyed. But then what happened on her end is like, there was, a mentally ill person on the street and he was he came into our space and she was like very preoccupied and concerned. Like she was never like.
Not from New York.
Like she was never, I would say, in any kind of danger. There was actually police nearby, but I think she was really uncomfortable. And I was like, damn, this is kind of impressive weird. How this is probably the worst date both of us have ever been on for totally different reasons. I was amused by the homeless person. I was like, this is interesting. There's a whole conflict here. He has a relationship with the venue. They know this guy. They're like talking to him.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems kind of weird that you live in a city like LA and be like so affronted by seeing people who are struggling with mental illness. I don't know. New York, I guess we're callous. We're like, yep, another day on the train. Like, what can you do?
Right.
You just say, sorry, I don't have any money, and you keep it moving. Like, that's it. No real judgment.
Yeah, so that went down. But here's the other update. I think I've talked about this on the main before, but I have this. This is all in my apartment building, which I actually like. But I've got this, next door neighbor, and she's an older lady.
Oh, is it Doris? What's her name?
Dora.
Dora, so close.
To just bring you guys into this, because I'm not sure what I've said before, she always kind of hits you with this like I'm dying energy. Like she'll literally just say like I'm dying. And I'm like, you're definitely
That's not even energy. That's just like smacking you over the head. Like,
yeah, I'm like, you're literally not dying. You're literally yelling at me that you're dying. That's definitely not what dying people do. So it's like her way of trying to get kind of attention. And so I'm trying to understand what is going on over there. So she lives with like a middle-aged guy. And I'm like, I don't understand what the situation is. They're clearly not related. So I'm like, I don't understand what's going on, but whatever. It's none of my business. And I finally called her out and I was like, I feel like you're just lonely, Dora. Like, and I gave her my number. I've given her my number twice because I want to make sure she doesn't freak out, and there's certain times when I'm like, whatever, I would go have a 5-minute conversation with you or have a phone call with you ideally. But anyway, the stakes got elevated because I left the other day and then she's like, I'm being kicked out. I don't have anywhere to go, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, damn, like I can't solve this problem for you. But yeah, I actually, I contacted.
Is that true? Was she getting kicked out?
I mean, I took her on her word, Sarah, and I called my dad and I was like, hey, because my dad deals with adult protective services, and I was like,
nice.
Because she's old enough, and I was like, I feel like I should report this, and he's like, oh, you totally should. Like, nothing bad can come of that. I mean, they'll look at the situation and try to help her. So, I called the government in, people, and this is a good thing. I mean, I think people should be aware of this. There's adult protective services, there's child protective services, and if you see some shit go down and you try to document it, and you should report it because, caseworker will come and take a look, and they're not very aggressive from what I understand, but they'll try their best,
That's good. Well, I'm glad you did something.
Little PSA, guys, because I am single as fuck. I think that is the message here. It is the sober Danny, whose main personality is running. I've even been eating healthier, so I can't even tell you about any donuts I've eaten. This is this is what it is.
I wanted to say also, sidebar, I did a fun podcast with my friends. Actually, one of them is Danny's friend too. Shooters Gotta Shoot. We did some dating related Am I the Asshole situation. So if you want like a crossover ep, go listen. It's really fun. Love
it. Big fan of Erica Spera, longtime friend of mine. Yeah, give it a listen. Love to hear it. I wasn't aware of that. That's awesome, Sarah.
Yay.
Good job evangelizing the AITA universe.
Spread the message.
Please rate, review, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. We're on this whole Spotify kick, so I'd really appreciate if you threw us a rating over there on Spotify. It only takes a second. It's very easy. I'm not going to lie to you. I gave us 5 stars. Maybe that's unethical.
No, it's ethical. If the president can vote for himself or herself, you can give yourself 5 stars on Spotify.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that. The president can vote for himself. That's funny. That's true, huh?
Thank you. It is true.
Interesting. I never thought of that. You know what the president can't vote for, though? Guess the Verdict. That's right. We have explicitly banned Joe Biden from participating in Guess the Verdict in AITA Live or any capacity. I don't think he'd be great. I really think it would take a while to explain it to him.
Yes, exactly. Too long explaining the acronyms.
He'd be like, I don't understand. What is AITA? AITA?
I like that that's the same voice you have for like every old person.
Here we go. AITA for telling my girlfriend's friend to watch her mouth when she insinuated that my girlfriend isn't a real woman.
Oh no, I don't like that. Nothing good can come from saying that. Can't be born out of any place that's not some sort of like ism, phobia.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So are you the asshole? I can't see that there's a way. I know that you're encouraging me down this path because I'm sure that's wrong. Okay, so let me reason this out.
There we go.
No comments from the peanut gallery. What is it? What did he do again?
AITA for telling my girlfriend's friend to watch her mouth when she insinuated that my girlfriend isn't a real woman.
Watch her mouth is so like low level shit. The question is, did she say like, watch your mouth, you stupid fucking cunt. I hope you die in a plane crash. No, a car accident. I don't know, whatever.
Ugh. Can't believe you just dropped the C word. Now I gotta censor this shit.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm like, that's the only scenario in which I could see this going into like an ESH town, but I don't feel like that's happening. I'm just going to go with NTA, I guess, even though it's probably wrong.
You would think, people, but I have used CIA level deception on you to great success. Now, here's what actually happened. I mean, you read this pretty right. It basically was the situation you described, though OP didn't say the C word. Sarah, you need to calm down.
Oh, I need to calm down. Okay.
So GF's friend at dinner, and we've actually been down this road before. It's a weird thing. Apparently, this is in the water. It's an attack on a skinny woman.
Oh, not this shit again. I hate that.
You remember this shit? Yeah. And so it's like,
oh, real women have curves. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. So what they said, what the girlfriend's friend said, GF wouldn't need fake boobs if she ate like a real woman.
Listen, if you could get boobs by eating, I would be a competitive eater. Okay?
Really? I'd never heard you say before you wanted bigger boobs. Is that how you feel?
I mean, hey, I wouldn't like turn the opportunity down.
We have a great opportunity for you. Anyway, OP basically flips the aggro switch on, loudly tells her, gets the whole restaurant to look. You hate to see it, people. Watch her, quote unquote, fat goddamn mouth. And then her comment was both rude and unnecessary, so I think you know where this is going to go. And then the girlfriend thinks that her friend, whose name is Amy, by the way, didn't mean to hurt her with the quote-unquote real woman comments, and that OP didn't read the room. Register with the top comment saying, if you had omitted, and by the way, Register was like a skinny woman, and they had a long preface about this, so they had a lot of empathy for the sitch. But they said, if you'd omitted the word fat from your insult, I'd be all for you, but knowing how bad body image issues are for so many people, I have to say ESH.
Yeah. Dang, I should have gone with my gut.
I'm up to no good. I'm up to no good, people. I won last week. It was a big deal.
That's
I called
true.
my mom. I said, I won Guess the Verdict.
No, you did
She said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, Mom, you're not old. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, AITA for asking my son to consider the needs of his brother when planning the food for his wedding.
That seems so reasonable, but you're a trickster yourself, Sarah. I don't see you opening here with an obvious. So, she's trying to dictate, and there's an aspect of control there, and that smells fishy to me. So I am going to just play I'm going to bunce this with a YTA.
Damn, you're right. Danny's onto you guys. 2022, not a good year for me so far.
A lot of people just lost a lot of money. That's right, people. Guess the Verdict is now on DraftKings.
We should put it on there.
Placing parlay bets on this shit. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, so basically the deal is that the brother recently lost a bunch of weight and doesn't want to be around any rich, buttery, indulgent foods. So that's complete bogus. Don't go to a wedding, man.
What is this? I've never heard of this. This diet is nothing delicious. I don't know if that's a diet.
I know. It's complete bogus. The top comment, YTA, it's supposed to be a wedding celebration for your oldest son and his wife, not a date to cater to the needs of your youngest. If John can't handle a buffet with rich foods, he should stay home.
Yeah, or I'm sure they'll have something healthy. Give me
they'll have a salad course. But also, live a little. You're not going to maintain any weight loss if you never let yourself, eat anything indulgent.
Right. Yeah, or instead of having an entire piece of cake, have half. Come on.
Ridiculous.
AITA for banning everyone who critiques our parenting from meeting our son.
I mean, damn, that seems fair, but also are they really horrible parents? But
yes.
I kind of don't think so. This to me seems like they are dealing with toxic, annoying, pushy family members and they finally snapped. Wait, what was the thing again? Sorry, I keep forgetting.
AITA for banning everyone who critiques our parenting from meeting our son.
The other problem with that is critiques our parenting is so vague. And I think when you're a parent, everybody gives you unsolicited advice and it is super annoying, but everyone thinks they're trying to help. And does that qualify as critiquing,
Right.
Just giving little tips and tricks from seeing our son. It seems a little harsh. Oh, I kind of want to go ESH, but would you double ESH me? That's tough. Okay, let me think about this.
She's really going through the supercomputer on this.
Okay, I know. I'm like, brain blast. Okay, Jimmy Neutron. Oh, let's just go with ESH, because that seems like a slight overreaction.
Wow, very risky ESH. Now, for those of you who know the probabilities here, guys, the vast majority of situations are NTA, and ESH is wrong.
God damn it.
Sorry, Sarah. Now, here is the thing, folks. I was unaware of this. I think this is a situation in its own right. I wasn't aware of these people. The lactation consultation.
Oh, for sure.
I guess I didn't really know that there's an individual who tries to push you. And OP and their
What do you
wife
mean? No, they just help. Don't they just help you breastfeed?
Well, you got to understand that OP's wife, okay, she has severe anxiety and OCD. Mm-hmm. She needs to be medicated for that. And I think that is why, that was my interpretation. That's why she did not want to breastfeed. This lactation consultant, however, was very aggressive.
Okay.
Okay. And wife is battered down. She's tired.
This is they just gave birth and this is the lactation consultant in the hospital?
Yes. Full court pressing, breastfeed. Wife is at the end of her wits. Almost caves, doesn't cave. And then dad moves in. I don't know what dad, whatever. Someone dad, there's all these dads, father-in-law, some of these dads. Also, you got to breastfeed. But Sarah, I got to give you credit here. You definitely kind of read the holistic picture here well, because there's this whole breastfeeding thing. But then there was just a lot of other issues. People criticizing what do they call that? Not a hamper. What do you put that thing the baby in? You shouldn't put your baby in a hamper. No, the jumper.
Stroller?
Something like that. Some kind of baby holder. And people criticizing the baby holder and whatever, and the baby gear. There's all these tools you have to get.
Yeah.
OP's this is, she has anxiety. OP's like, I want these people banned. He bans them. And all the family and friends, exactly what you said. I got to give you props for this. I'm going to give you a half point because they were, quote, just trying to help. I believe that's exactly what you said.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes. It shouldn't be like that, but it is.
They're trying to help, whatever.
Yeah.
They're mansplaining.
I mean, there's a difference between we did this, have you heard about this tip? And you're doing this wrong, you should do it this way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a great way to put it. You gotta measure yourself a bit. Separate swordfish. I'm gonna give that a top 50 username. It's an interesting thing. I picture what about a non-separate swordfish, combined with a swordfish?
It's a fish holding a sword, okay.
Yeah. They wrote NTA. I wouldn't characterize it as banning or any other inflammatory language if I were you. Quote unquote, the pregnancy and birth were profoundly difficult for wife and we want to take a beat to regroup now that the baby is here. We're excited for everyone to meet baby, but mom and dad need a few weeks alone with him. So they were saying don't use the word ban.
That's completely normal.
Right?
How you're not going to meet the baby when it's 2 days old. I also didn't even leave the hospital for a month after I was born. So what do these people expect?
Did I ever tell you that I was a famous baby?
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I peaked in fame very young because I was a very sickly child. Some of you already know that I'm kind of a weak man, but I was an even weaker baby. I was born blue.
Oh, wow.
I had barely enough oxygen. They had a new machine, some kind of baby machine, a really advanced sort of baby holder that fed me air. And my friend was born at the same hospital, and they were like, oh, our friend was born here, Danny Vega. And then the nurse was like, oh, yeah, we know Danny Vega. And they're like, what? Why do you remember a random baby? And
That's
they're like,
crazy.
Oh, he's a big deal. He broke in our machine. We never used the machine before.
Oh, that's not really comforting.
I know. We're going to put your baby on this thing. Let me just figure out. We're not exactly sure how to turn it on, but...
Brand new. Got to read the manual first, but it'll be fine.
Okay.
My God.
Oh, it's not plugged in. All right. Well, that's why it wouldn't turn on. No big deal. Your baby's going to be fine.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Bringing it home. AITA for bringing a homophobe to my gay cousin's engagement.
Oh, Sarah, I have already read this situation.
No!
It's actually escaping me. Let's hope that my memory can pull this one in. Yes, what happened? Well, what happened is OP didn't know. They didn't know that this guy was homophobic. And then the freaking, the cousin like chewed them out and really freaked out. And I remember thinking that it should have been a no assholes here because they didn't know better. And like, obviously this person had a huge reaction, but I kind of felt like they would probably cool down with time because it was like an accidental homophobe. You know, they didn't know. So I'm going no assholes here. I don't really remember though.
Damn, you nailed it. That was exactly what happened.
Well, yeah, I had done the situation before.
Well, yeah, it wasn't no assholes here. You didn't know and broke up with him. She brought her boyfriend. Boyfriend was a homophobe. Why he would agree to go to that dinner is beyond me. So he's a real asshole. But yeah, no, it was a no assholes here. Horrible guy. So anyway, damn. It's the end of an era.
Wow, 2 in a row for me.
Losing.
But I gave you half a point, so you still got something. I mean, you nailed that phrase. So
thank you.
Very impressive, guys.
Thank you.
She's still the guest the verdict queen in many respects. Don't be fooled. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITApod. We got a little review here. Nice, very kind thing. It kind of touched my heart, so we'll just go into this here. They wrote, "Love it. I started listening to the pod when I started night shifts 3 weeks ago, and I was hesitant. Needless to say, I can't go a night now without binging eps, and on my nights off, I feel lonely without Danny being shut down by Sarah, and Sarah laughing in his face about it." Wow. Okay.
Thank you.
Sometimes I have to learn that this is why people actually listen to the pod. I'm like, oh, some people think I'm funny. No. I love you guys. You make my shifts 10,000 times easier. P.S. I want to join the Patreon, but I'm too broke. I still support though. And of course, guys, I have a little bonus pack. If any of you are too broke, I have a little bonus pack of episodes I send along so you can get 10 bonus eps. And you can get more too. I'm not here to fleece you if you really genuinely can't afford $5 a month. But if you can, please support us on Patreon. We'd appreciate it. Folks, we got one heck of an ep for you today. Our second story of the day, a request from a listener. We'll take them, people, put them in the form. AITA for refusing to eat food I don't like. Curious. But first, it's an update. AITA for making a mutual friend pay for her share of a trip that she didn't attend. So we should probably bring you in on this a little bit. The recollection here that I'm having, Sarah, is this was a person who...
Okay, this was like 3 friends with the boyfriend. We're going to like a house or something like that. The boyfriend kind of sucks. Like, he had said the N-word a few times, and like the other girl was like, "I'm out unless you dump this guy." And then OP had to kind of chase her for the money back. And ultimately we said no assholes here because the one girl was right to drop them, and then she was right to get her money back.
Yeah, and I thought it was a fair thing, and we kind of came for OP, so it's great to get an update because OP didn't get upset with us, and so here we go. AITA for making mutual friend pay for her share of a trip she didn't attend. Update. Hi, Danny and Sarah. First off, I want to thank you for your in-depth discussion on my submish. I always enjoy your input, and I really wanted to take this one to heart. Regardless of the final verdict, despite my fear that this will sound like a painted story, I wanted to provide an update along with clarification. As for Aaron and Jacob, they are still together. So Jacob was the shitty boyfriend.
The boyfriend that we hated.
Yeah, not a fan of Jacob. However,
I hope those are fake names.
Before you think of the person he was in the previous submish, I wanted to say you were completely right when you said that people conform to their company. For our case, Jacob conformed to Aaron and myself. I know that our friendship dynamic sounded toxic, and I do agree it was not a healthy dynamic. Aaron and I are both pretty passive, and neither of us had ever had someone this quote-unquote close to us that had exhibited this kind of behavior. As time went on, we realized that Jacob had his own toxic relationships in his life that we wanted nothing to do with, but we saw real good in him when he began to separate himself from those people. Since that day that we asked him to never say the N-word again, he hasn't. As for the context of when he did say it, and I do not believe this is a justification in any way, but I failed to provide the setting, we were drinking, listening to rap, and he was saying all of the lyrics.
I knew exactly that. I knew it. Anyway.
That's definitely a big difference. Then, you shouldn't say it, but that doesn't seem to me, hateful. Of course, this is still not an excuse, but by no means he was throwing the hard R at anyone. Aaron and I wanted to educate him, as Gen Z talks about all the time, and chose to ask him to, is that a thing? Gen Z talks about educating?
For sure. I mean, it's like, it's not okay to say it, and it was definitely not okay to say it in that setting. And
right.
like, I kind of figured that was the setting because I just think that's the only, I don't know, I think that's like one of the only settings that other people would like almost give a pass to, unless they're just like horrible people.
Right. Okay, that's good.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, Gen Z does talk a lot about like educating people of like why they're wrong.
Yeah, no, and by the way, I want to say,
not even just Gen Z, just like people,
I like Gen Z.
You know?
I like Gen Z. I think Gen Z is a great thing. And I just, look, my brother is always on me and he's a little Gen Z, always telling me my emojis aren't cool. And
I know. I like the crying, laughing guy. Leave me alone.
We like our emojis. Can you let us have these little emojis? I mean, they're tiny pictures. Right? They're cute.
And we don't ask for much.
Yeah, come on. Anyway, all right, here we go. So we wanted to educate him, as Gen Z talks about all the time, and chose to ask him to stop and tell him why he should stop rather than coming out guns a-blazing and making him defensive, i.e. Haley's solution to never speak to him again and not give him a chance to change or apologize. In all honesty, we all have wonderful and terrible sides to us, and different people can bring out those sides. Aaron had been with him for 2 months when this happened, and now it's been over a year and a half. I genuinely believe we've all grown since then. Okay, I'm into this. One detail I wanted to mention regarding the sus story with the joint was that...
Oh, yeah, I did not get that
was
at
that
all.
Jacob was the one who called the police. The girl he was with wouldn't leave.
Oh, what the
and
hell?
He didn't want to physically throw her out of his apartment while she was freaking out about the joint, so he called the police and he never heard from her again. Okay, so that was the...
That almost sounds worse.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm like, someone's freaking out and you're gonna like call the cops to like possibly forcibly remove them.
That's definitely a very cruel thing to do to someone extremely high on pot. And let me just say, pot can be
right,
very...
because then also they're worried they're gonna get arrested unless you live like somewhere it's legal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they freak out.
What the hell?
Don't let them on the street.
That's almost worse now. Okay, whatever.
Pot can be very, very intense. I will tell you, edibles generally tend to be the way that you get like insanely, crazily high and you didn't expect it. One time I took an edible...
Except for me.
Yeah, right. I took an edible and then my friend's sister called me, but the way she started the call, she just said like, hello. I was like, hello? And she's like, hello, have you seen Jane Smith? And I was like, huh? It just freaked me out, just the way she...
That's bizarre.
I know, it was very bizarre. Of course, I had a Ghirardelli chocolate brownie, and the Ghirardelli aspect covering, the fact that it was like basically half pot, so... That freaked me out for weeks. But anyway, here we go. As for the Haley sitch, I need to apologize for using those adjectives to describe her. I was angry when writing that submish because of the way that it hurt Aaron when she cut us off. It felt like walking off a cliff with no warning. Her and Aaron had been good friends from 2016. It felt heartless to me and I lashed out in using those words, so I am sorry. I also agree that Haley was in the right after paying us her share. The sad part is that I went through hell to get that money from her and it took a completely separate third party to convince her. She refused to directly communicate with me and would only send texts. Okay. That seems direct, but okay. The final outcome was that she had paid her share, but I don't see why she couldn't have been more mature with me. Well, okay, OP, I'm trying, but I don't know.
Maybe she would only send text to the third party.
Okay. I'm trying to be on your side, OP, but...
Yeah.
When someone cuts you off, if they're still texting, I've had this impulse before where I'm like, let's keep it textual because you're a maniac and I want to
keep it textual.
Let's keep it textual.
I tried that. Yep, I've tried that before.
I want a written record of everything that happens. That's kind of...
Oh my God, right?
Anyway. The other layer to this, which I cut out because I thought my submish was getting too lengthy, was that this wasn't the first time Haley had cut off a friend out of nowhere. In passing convos when we hung out before the whole blow up, she had mentioned a handful of times when she cut someone off for one reason or another. The one story that I can personally recall, because she did it to a close friend, was harsher than my initial submish. Haley and this other girl, let's call her Allie, were nearly inseparable our junior and senior year. One day after high school, while Allie was deployed out of the country, Haley gave her the same ultimatum. Haley didn't want Allie to be friends with the person X who was friends with person Y, who she decided she didn't like. Haley told Allie that if she continued to be friends with person X, that they couldn't be friends. Allie didn't feel it was right to be told by someone else who she could and couldn't be friends with. It was a shockingly abrupt convo that also occurred over text, and it took Allie a long time to get over that sudden best friend breakup. One of the reasons that we took Jacob's side was because it felt like another repeat from Haley's past. I didn't write this to change your verdict. I will take full responsibility for my own shortcomings and blind spots. I just wanted to provide more context to maybe help see where I was coming from. Thank you for all the amazing content you give your listeners. I still totally love you guys.
Thank you.
Oh,
I will say, I don't like when people do the like, if you're friends with X, you can't be friends with me. It happens all the time on, you guessed it, The Real Housewives. And I'm just like, I think that's like honestly total bullshit.
Yeah, I think putting...
Unless like person X is like, unless it's like person X is someone who has like said really horrible things to me, then I kind of get it. But, and in this case, I felt like she was kind of like, well, I'm not going on this vacation with this guy I dislike. Yeah. But I don't like in general when people kind of try to play this like game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I think there is a way to do this, right? I think there are times, there are conflicts you can have with people where, you know, if you cut someone out of your life or something and then other people are friends with that person. And I'm in this situation with a few people, unfortunately. I think it's a healthy thing to cut people out of your life. I'm not recommending doing it abruptly. I recommend you don't do it abruptly. I recommend you have kind of some finality and you warn them and you really like kind of go through the process, because that will kind of prevent you from regretting and ambiguity. You know, you want to lay it out and be like, listen, I'm getting to a point where I might not be able to communicate with you further. And I recommend you make a process out of it. You know, in the case of like a romantic relationship, that could also manifest as like going to therapy a few times and like trying to make it work, because it's peace of mind insurance, you know?
For sure.
Obviously though, and this is kind of the duality of this, there are people who abruptly cut off, and that can start to look like a little bit more cruel or, you know,
yeah.
Right. And so if someone's doing it like repeatedly and it feels very abrupt, I'm not justifying that. But, you know, as we always say here, you have a right to break up with anyone for any reason. And basically that's what cutting someone out of your life is, right? It's like saying you're not welcome in these parts. So...
Yeah.
But I'm with you, Sarah. I think it's very Machiavellian and manipulative to be like, you can't be friends with them. I think it's a fair thing to say, though, if you feel that you can't be friends with them because they're friends with someone else, you say that. You say, I got to be honest with you. Like, I want you in my life, but it causes me a lot of pain to see that you're friends with my mortal enemies, Team Rocket. And... you know, I want to be your friend, but it really deeply bothers me, and I just wanted to come out with that. And I think that is a very fair way to do it, so you can put the ball in their court, and they may say F off, or they may say, look, Team Rocket's not worth it to me. I mean, who doesn't love Meowth? I mean, he's kooky, he's fun. He's the only Pokemon who talks, but I don't need Meowth. Fuck Meowth, you know?
Yeah. So. He's the only one who says anything more than his own name, so...
right.
But he's not worth it.
Right. Well, and the other thing, I got a lot of props for you, OP, because, you know, I love when you said you take full responsibility. I think that's really big of you. And that's just saying, you know, you're going to size this thing up and take it in and learn from this experience. But I also do want to say, you know, we came hard at Jacob, but I'm big on redemption, you know, and I am big on giving people a second chance and giving them an opportunity to learn and to grow. And if you can sense that that potential is there, and that maybe he's like, you know, if someone is in a more toxic friend group, not that I'm beginning to think this friend group may not be toxic, but if they're in like a super toxic friend group or a toxic family system or anything like that, you can give them an opportunity to be like, yo, you know, like it doesn't have to be this way, and these other friends, you know, just having a conversation before you assume that they're the devil is a good idea. I'm going there, and it sounds like you did this, you know, and
a very lukewarm take, but yeah, no, I mean, I think like it's very easy to write people off and like think that you're doing a good thing. And in some cases you might be, but like, I think the real work can sometimes be like truly sitting with people and trying to understand their beliefs and trying to educate them and like trying to get them to change.
Totally. Yeah. And hearing them and making them feel heard can be a great way, a great tool to help them open up and hear your side as well. People can change. People can grow. And actually, Sarah, this evokes for me what you said, and you know, we went a lot to our classic the debates of, you know, what is abuse and what is not abuse, and I think you're right about this. You know, it really is a pattern, and if it's a sustained pattern that seems to not get interrupted, doesn't seem to be changing or shifting, then you probably got to get out of Dodge. But if it's a one-off or a two-off, then you call it out, and you see some growth there, even if it's not instantly fixed, but it's reduced. excuse, maybe they apologize quicker the third time or whatever it may be, then yeah, maybe you give this person a chance and try to help them out. And, you know, because we're humans, we fuck up, and sometimes we fuck up twice, and sometimes we fuck up 5 times, but the 5th time is a lot less worse than the 4th time, you know?
I know. I feel like my jury is still out on Haley's pattern of cutting people off, because the first time seems petty. The second time still seems justified to me. So I'm going to give a big, like, question mark there.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, it sounds like Haley's kind of brutal. So
her first instinct might very well be to cut people off. And like, that might not be good. But to me, I'm like, she's kind of 1-in-1 right now. So
yeah, and look, and you got to look at people and always realize, like, maybe this is rooted in something on her side, right? Like, why does she move to cut off? Because maybe, you know, she's been brutally burned in the past, you know, and she doesn't fuck around.
Sure.
And so that's
people have their reasons.
Yeah, she herself feels like very like insecure in a more literal sense. Like, she needs to preserve herself and feel safe. And so that's her move. It might not necessarily be the fact that she's, you know, brutal or controlling or something. Thanks for the update, OP. AITA for making a mutual friend pay for her share of the trip that she didn't attend. I don't really think we need a verdict here. I think OP owned their shit. They explained their shit. They took responsibility. And for that, I'm going to drop you're the hero. I think this is, you know, this is all good stuff. Thanks, OP.
We like
Folks,
to hear
rate,
it.
review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITApod. AITA for refusing to eat food I don't like. I, 56M, have a son, 28M, who spent a lot of time traveling overseas in his college years. He went all around the world, including several trips to the Middle East, where he studied for his minor in Arabic language and lit. A few years ago, my son found out a woman he knew in Pakistan had a son. She claimed that this son was his, which I doubted. My son, however, believed her without question. He asked this woman to send her son to the US to stay with my son so they could get to know each other. He has spent the last few summers here. This is wild. I don't know how we got to this from food.
Big yikes. Energy already.
What is going on? Recently, the boy moved in with my son full time, a decision I strongly urge against. My son enrolled him in the same private school we sent him to at that age, which is very expensive. I've tried to support my son's decision, but it's been hard. I want him to get a DNA test.
Have you though? Like, oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. Have you tried at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want my son to get a DNA test, but he stubbornly refuses. Recently, things came to a head at a family dinner my son invited us to. He said the boy was feeling homesick, so they cooked Pakistani food together. Oh, I actually love Pakistani food. There used to be a Pakistani place by my work, and it was freaking bomb. My son wanted the whole family to eat this food because he said it would make the boy feel like he and his culture were accepted. Now, I don't like Middle Eastern food. Oh, God. It's coming. The cringe sentence of the century. Quote, I don't like strong spices. Shut up. Oh, taste. No. My son begged me to just try some, or at least eat the bread. The bread had flecks of all kinds of weird spices on it, though, so I refused. Shut up.
Yeah, what is this weird black pepper?
Right. Oh, I ate something that tastes. No. My son got mad and asked me to please eat something just to make your grandson happy. He pulled me aside for this, so the boy wasn't present to hear our conversation. I told my son I have no proof he is my grandson, and even if I did, I shouldn't have to eat food I don't like. My son called me selfish, stubborn, asshole, and then asked me to leave, so I did. My wife stayed, though. My wife agrees with me that I shouldn't have to eat food I don't like, but she said I could have at least tried a bite to appease our son. She thinks I was being stubborn to be stubborn. I wasn't, though. I don't like Middle Eastern food. This guy's there's so much food in the Middle East. That's not, ugh.
And Pakistan is not like in the Middle East.
Right. I think most people would think Mediterranean, right? Whatever. That's all. How could I be the asshole for that?
It's like Southeast Asia?
Yeah, still my son isn't speaking to me right now. Should I have just tried some bread? Are you really ending the submit? You're ending on should I have tried? Yes, you should have tried some bread.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Yes, it's bread. You would have lived, OP. Oh, God.
Good fucking God. This isn't about the food at all. Like, this is about this person, like, clearly not accepting their son's family. I think because they're not white. Like, what?
I'm ready to go with you there. This guy feels...
Because it's just like immediately, I'm like, listen, if your son believes that this kid is his son, like, it's because he slept with this woman on enough occasions. Like, it's obviously credible.
Right.
He's not just like, I think I could use a son right now. Like, I'll take anyone that comes. No, like, he obviously thinks it's plausible. plausible. So it's obviously his son. Like, what?
Right.
And the fact that he doesn't believe it, it's like, I think it's because this person is not white. Like, that is so sketch. And then, like, conflating, like, Pakistan, the Middle East, like, Arabic.
This guy seems a little bit xenophobic. I think that's fair to say. Possibly might drop a racist on him, but, like...
I mean, my initial instinct was like, this is racism.
Right, like, I mean, he is really missing the mark. Pakistan is like north of India, so it's closer to Indian food. It's definitely not what I would characterize as, what is Middle Eastern food? That doesn't...
To me, Middle Eastern food is like, you got your hummus. That's it.
See, I'm not...
No, I don't know. I'm thinking like hummus, pita, like, I don't know, like the Israeli salad with like the cucumbers, tomatoes.
So there's some overlap with Mediterranean, right? There's kind of some remixing happening there, right? Because I've had
That's kind of what I think. I'm thinking of like what I've eaten.
This guy's off the mark. Because I've had Egyptian food, and that includes baba ganoush and hummus, which we also see.
Yeah, a lot of overlap.
Right, and then Israeli hummus is the best in the world. I mean, I don't know what those...
and then you go to a Greek restaurant, they have hummus too.
Yeah, but Israel, I gotta give it to the Jews on this one, and I know there's like a thing that I've seen, or I think it's a Sebastian Maniscalco joke that Jewish food isn't that good, and whatever, that's his opinion. But Israeli hummus, I'm sorry, people, it's not even close. They have won the hummus wars.
All hummus slaps, but yes.
Iraqi food, delicious. I would say that is very, or not. I haven't had Iraqi food. I've had Iranian food. It's really bomb. Anyway, this guy's an idiot, and I hate people who just won't even try food.
This is such bullshit. I'm like, what? Like, even the bread. I'm like, oh, there's flecks of flavor in your bread. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Grow up. You might like it. It's probably better than whatever, like, shitty fucking Wonder Bread you're used to.
I don't like it. You sound like you're 12. Give it a bite.
Yeah.
You can't eat a bite.
This is not about the food.
You can't eat a bite.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
And it's not like it's spicy, like it's going to burn the shit out of your mouth. He's just saying, like, it has a strong flavor. Like, come on, guys. Like... Come on, please. Just take a bite of it and try it. You're going to survive. It's food. It's good for you. Eat it. My kids are going to eat every kind of food. They don't have to like it all, but they're trying every single food because I like every food. I really never met a food I didn't like. And so I don't know what people are talking about.
It's kind of true. I've definitely had meals that I've just been like, this was not it, but like I ordered it because it seemed like it would be good. It was just the restaurant prep off. But yeah.
Well, my friend had a great observation. He's like, if you grow up in a small town and you'll have like one Indian place there, right? And then you go to the Indian place and it's not good, you'll be like, oh, Indian food sucks. And it's like, no, Indian food doesn't suck. That place sucks because you're in freaking Casa Grande, Arizona. That's why it sucks. Fun fact, Casa Grande, I do not believe has an Indian place. That's how small of a town it is.
Damn.
Oh, man, I love Indian food though. All right.
Yeah, no, this is just so... Oh my God.
Yeah, we've been on a food rant, but let's face it, the core of this issue really...
It's not about the food.
It's really not about the food. It's about the fact that...
It's about you not accepting your own grandson.
Exactly. The son is with it. The son is caring for the kid. Let's even just say that even if he was a little bit ridiculous and he only slept with this woman once, so what? He's caring for a child. Like, respect the choice. Go with the choice. Nobody is asking anything of you. He's paying, right? Like, it's not like OP is paying for the private school.
Right.
Why are you mad? And it's, you mad that a child is getting an education?
Yes. I'm also kind of like, what does like support mean to you? Because like from what I'm seeing is like you've made no effort to even acknowledge this kid as your family member. You won't even try the bread. Right. You are disapproving of the choice at every like step of the way. So I'm just like, by supporting, do you just mean like you're not actively sabotaging? Like maybe I'll give you that, but you're not supporting this at all.
Yeah. No way. He's not doing anything supportive. Rough theme 5289. YTA, Pakistan isn't even Middle Eastern, it's South Asian. By the way, I'd also be angry if I reached middle age and couldn't handle the weird spices on bread. That's true.
Same.
FS23457. As a Pakistani American, I was about to say this, Middle Eastern food and Desi food are very, very different also. I believe the dish I had was pakora. Don't fact check me, I might have this wrong, but yeah, something like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, like This person, I just feel like this person thinks all brown people are just like the same.
Yeah. Basic bitchette. I'm going to give that a top 50 usernames.
Hey.
YTA for not even trying the food before deciding you don't like it and for thinking your opinion matters in regard to whether this child is his or not. You're my exact age, and the stupendous self-absorbed immaturity in your post that breeze you feel is not evidence that the universe revolves around you.
That's a good insult.
I love that. I have to wonder if you'd be as dismissive of this kid if he were white. So we're all kind of lining up here on who this person is.
We're picking up what OP's putting down, and then we're throwing it away.
Glitter, sparkle, divine. This isn't about food. This is about you refusing to believe a kid is your grandson. At least admit to yourself that if the grandson was your same race, you wouldn't be denying it so vehemently. I mean, we're going to have to give AITA for refusing to eat food I don't like, first of all, an award for being one of the most deceiving titles I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my God. Well, this gives me big, missing, this person seems like a big missing reasons type person because it's they're really just painting a picture, being so willfully ignorant of what the true issue is, and they really just think it's about the food when it's bro, come on.
And also,
anyone can see that it's not.
I kind of think you are an asshole. Fine if you have an allergy or something, but literally, please try food. You'll be fine. It's going to be unpleasant for 30 seconds. Try food. Try life. Be open to new experiences. That's kind of what assholes are. People who are not open, not willing to try, because another word for being not open is being ignorant. So I'm not...
Yeah, I feel I don't know, didn't most of us grow up with your parents being you have to have a bite?
Have a bite, dude. Good God.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's a whopping YTA.
Yeah.
Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITApod. Guarantee that if you join us on Patreon, you will not be saying bullshit like, I don't like food with spices. We hear that of you the more you listen to the pod. That's a scientific fact.
Facts.
All right, folks, we are going to wrap up here on AITA for telling an employee to stop using weaponized incompetence.
Honestly, I love that phrase. It's so apt.
I am so intrigued to learn what this means. I'm trying to think of what it would mean for me. What am I most incompetent at? Well, I'm very incompetent at parallel parking. So this would be I guess if
if you get a job as a valet and then you're actually, I can't park any of the cars, so you're going to have to do it, Kyle.
I would destroy a valet company in one day. It would be you've been here for 8 hours and you have not parked a single vehicle, sir. Here we go.
You'd be yeah, but I'm going to split the tip still, right?
Yeah, I still got to split. It's in the contract.
It's fair.
Everyone in the store is professional and makes above $100,000. Greg is in his 50s.
What store is this? You guys hiring?
Store. Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, Greg is in his 50s and we all work in tech. What? What kind of store is this? Oh, everyone in this story.
Story. Okay, we got it. Damn. All right, I'll put my resume away.
Imagine it's Dylan's Candy. They just pay really well. Greg is in his 50 and we all work in tech. I'm the project manager of about 30 people. Greg has been having issues for the last 5 years because we changed programming methods. Good God, 5 years. The company paid for us to take the certification. Greg, while we work from home, called IT every day over something. And returning to the office, our IT guy, Eric, came to me and said he's not helping Greg anymore. It's above his pay grade. This is the first time I've heard of this, and Greg explains he set up the base project for Greg, and the previous IT guy did this also. He said Greg would scream at them for Greg not understanding how the program works. I meet with most of my team and I clarify that IT is not your assistant. Do not treat them as such. Greg goes on a 20-minute rant on how he misses the old software. I tell Greg to stop weaponizing his incompetence. From that day forward, no one is to help Greg. He needs to either sink or swim. Our team is as strong as the weakest member. Greg filed a complaint about ageism in the workplace. I turned around and signed Eric up for company paid for certification. Greg already promoted his replacement. AITA.
How do you get by 5 years not knowing the program that the company paid you to understand?
That's either the result of vindictiveness, so weaponized incompetence if we're going to give it to OP, or I think this comment is pretty interesting. Happy Banana 134 writes, I'll give you an ESH, but this is appalling management. And I think he's onto something here.
Yeah, it's how do you not know that one of your employees doesn't like straight up has been faking it essentially for 5 years.
Right. So this person elucidates 6 points, straight up Martin Luther style.
Ooh, good
Killing
word.
it, Happy Banana. In your post, you write that Greg has had issues for the last 5 years. You don't say where you've addressed this. Why didn't you act when you heard Greg had been screaming at people? This is something you need to follow up on and not in a group meeting. You allowed a 20-minute rant to take place. What a waste of time. Ooh, that's a great...
It probably wasn't 20 minutes, but
Picture
yeah,
painting.
for sure.
He was picture painting, trying to make Greg seem worse than he was. He probably ranted for 4 minutes, you know?
Yeah, it's like, how much steam does anyone have in them? You're not like delivering a soliloquy on stage.
Yep. Calling Greg incompetent in a group setting was inappropriate. Sink or swim is not how a team works. Greg has now told you he's struggling. What refresher training have you arranged? I'm with this. I mean, this just, if Greg is, look, Greg has been there for 5 years, so obviously he's doing something. So you're not really treating your team member very well. I mean, sink or swim, what are we? Did the Titanic sink? I mean, like, why would that be the attitude? Help Greg, you piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess Greg does seem like a huge asshole because it's just like, why is he being so stubborn? But yeah, I mean, I'm sure from a manager perspective, it's not appropriate to like basically ice someone out.
That's my problem here. And I worry that some picture painting is happening. And look, I think hierarchy is real here. If I can drop a new one to the list of things that are real, people, like this guy is older. He's trying. You switch the tech on him. And look, guys, I think it's part of reality. You know, I think some old people, they stay with it. They're able to learn new stuff. But like, it is harder. It's harder for them.
Oh my God. Anytime there's a new social media app, I'm like, I give up.
Right.
Like, sheesh. And it's not even my job, really.
Yeah. And these Gen Zs are telling me I can't use my emojis. Well, I have mastered this language. I don't want to learn your new language. Yeah. Like, let me say guy throwing up emoji. That's how I feel. You're going to be mad at me for how I feel? But seriously, like, I don't know. I just feel like OP is deploying very little humanity. And I know Greg is depicted as a yelling monster, but I'm wondering, 5 years? I feel like Greg has been neglected for 4 years. Nobody helped him. Yeah, he got a certification, but like maybe the certification class was hard for someone who's 55 years old.
But how did he pass if he doesn't understand this like language or whatever the program is?
Exactly. Like
I don't get it.
I just don't understand an attitude of a manager who isn't trying to help Greg really in any single way and should have been looking at the yelling at IT. And like, I'm obviously not advocating that you should yell at your IT people. You should never yell at anybody. But I feel like this is like Greg is at wit's end. I feel like he's older. He used the old software for like 20 years, some obscene amount of time, and he's overwhelmed and he's been overwhelmed and he's just, he's not getting it. Also, it's just from companies I've worked at, it is a classic thing where they're like, oh, we got new software that'll work better. And I'm like, why did you think this was better? This is worse. And they're like, no, we look here at this feature. And I'm like, we don't even use that feature. Like, there could be huge disconnects between the reality and like what management has decided will work. It's like, you don't even know what your people are doing. We hate the new software.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm still just like, well, number one, I'm like, how did this go unseen for 5 years? But then also like, I don't know, why did this guy do this for 5 years? Like, I don't understand a lot of things that are happening
here. It doesn't add up, Sarah. And like, that's why there's no way, I'm not going to go as hard to say this is, YTA and Greg isn't, because Greg does sound like a nightmare. But like,
Yeah, I think Greg is an asshole if he's been sort of like offloading his work to other people for 5 fucking years. Like, why aren't you asking for help? Why are you just like abusing these IT people?
Absolutely. And what I'm on about hierarchy is real. It's like, instead of, if you're above someone, you shouldn't view yourself as their lord and sink or swim, you fools, I am your king. No, you actually have a harder job when you're a manager, if you're any good at it, which obviously this person isn't, because your job is to make sure that people are happy and that they're rewarded by their roles and that they too can hopefully ascend the hierarchy with you, and you should be rewarding competence and good work. And when that isn't happening, you should be on that shit and fixing it. So in a sense, the fact that this has been a lingering problem from 5 years is a huge reflection on OP.
Yeah, that's for sure. No, even like the fact that nobody, like either OP is so incompetent that he didn't, I don't want to say incompetent, either OP is like so bad as a manager that he didn't take this issue seriously, or like nobody feels comfortable going to OP to voice this issue, or OP is just so oblivious, like they didn't notice. I mean, I don't know, I kind of feel like there's no real scenario in which Like, unless Greg is a fucking stealth mastermind,
Right.
like, I don't really see how this doesn't also reflect poorly on
Massively
OP.
poorly. And any manager saying some shit like sink or swim, it's like, I don't know what you think this is. You think this is boot camp, you idiot? We work in, what is it? We work in tech. Like,
Harsh.
help
Yeah.
people out. And also, again, it's like, because people be like, oh, you're a soft snowflake. And it's like, no, dude, this is just bad business. You've had this guy for 5 years and he's not
Yeah.
doing good work. Like, your manager's a moron. Like, that's a waste of money for you because this guy is so frustrated. Like, it's just bad.
Yeah, I'm with you.
AITA for telling an employee to stop using weaponized incompetence. I think we agree wholeheartedly on this one. I mean, look, there might be some picture painting here, but we're gonna assume that Greg actually is pretty. Oh, Greg's pretty bad. So we're gonna go with an ESH.
We have
All
to.
right, folks, that is the pepperoni pizza, and yes, that is a thing I just said. I said it. It's done. There's nothing that can be done. It can't be undone.
It's out in the universe.
It's out in the
Out there.
universe. So again, throw a thing in the Q&A on Spotify. I'll pin your comment if it's fire. I simply love to see it. I'll read them all. We love to see it, folks. We're also on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok. Our username is AITApod. AITApod. You better believe it. Join us on Patreon. Rate, review, subscribe. You hate me now. I'm sorry for all the plugs, but I do love you, and thank you so much.
Bye.